Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to the final race of our F1 2002 career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here in Brazil for the season finale. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live back at the start of the week from Kota, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It kind of sets up this final race of the season because Heinz Harold Frentzen has already wrapped up the World Championship. Yes, he's got a 60-point lead as we return to Sao Paulo this weekend. Nobody inside the top four can change positions. Williams have bagged the Constructors' Championship as well after we made a late race strategy gamble in Texas that didn't pay off for us, annoyingly. Meant that we finished for the second time all year off of the podium. And yeah, Frentzen, pole position, fastest lap, race victory, dominated the Circuit of the Americas, and a very well-earned first World Championship for the German, it must be said as well there. Michael Schumacher, back-to-back DNFs though, late on in the campaign. Ultimately, he just never quite has been as quick as myself or either of those Williams cars throughout the course of the campaign. But there are still a few other battles going on to look out for here. David Coulthard, Anthony Davidson are tied heading into the season finale. Danica Patrick only 10 points back ahead of Jenson Button. McLaren and Sauber tied for P3 in the Constructors' Championship and just 8 points in it. Between BAR and Renault as well, so there is still a lot to fight for up and down the order from a lot of other teams. For us though this weekend, we can just go out and try to enjoy ourselves and hopefully have a bit of fun with it. Get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs at the moment. Also, if you want to help support the channel just a little bit more, you can click the join button down below for just £1 a month. And you get early access to all of these videos. I'm already working behind the scenes on everything I want to see and sort out for the 2003 season. But without further ado, let's try and finish 2002 with a big result. Well, here we are then, one final time in the F2002 car here for qualifying. And hopefully, like I said, despite the fact there's nothing we can gain or lose in the World Championship, I still want to try and prove that we can compete with Williams one last time over the course of this campaign as well. They've definitely had the car advantages this season. There have been weekends where we just could not even get close to them. But I think for probably one of the first times ever on this game, we've come to Brazil, and it doesn't look like it's meant to rain this weekend, which is quite nice as well. I'm pretty certain as well in this series, it's the first time ever we've come to Interlagos and there isn't a championship decider. Maybe the same thing happened in 1998. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but every other season there's been a World Championship decider heading to this circuit because I've been in every single one of them. Obviously back at back at Jordan even in 99, obviously BAR for 2000. We won the World Championship with McLaren in 2001. And of course now, yeah, 2002 as well there. Qualifying is going to be absolutely terrible though. P10 on the grid. I'm just not convinced we've got much pace here. Well, Frentzen will continue his impressive form then with another pole position here. World Championship might be wrapped up, but he is still trying to get everything he possibly can out of that Williams car. Williams get another front row lockout there. Michael Schumacher not far away though, so that's quite an impressive sign. Everybody else is a second back or more, so we weren't actually that far away from P4 come the end of qualifying, but still a very disappointing effort.
Formula One returns to Sao Paulo once again with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Brazilian Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his third championship here in 2012, and in 2016, Max Verstappen treated us to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. We're racing today then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7-mile circuit, and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3. And that gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Now, let's kick off our conversation with Alexander Albon. What a season they've had. A well-deserved championship victory, and the pressure now surely off with the title already in the bag.
I agree it's been a truly impressive season, but championship or no, I don't think they'll be gently cruising around to the finish line. In fact, with points no longer a concern, there's a lot less to risk, so we may even see a more aggressive approach.
We line up P9 then, virtue of some others' grid penalties, but we've still got a lot of work to do as we make our way through the afternoon here at Interlagos. It is just meant to be an overcast day though, so hopefully, yeah, no chance of rain or anything like that. Basically means no chance for me to bottle the strategy again, like we did last weekend. But waiting on the grid then for those 5 red lights here in Sao Paulo. It's a ridiculously long hole, but it is finally going to be lights out and away we go there. And it's actually our teammate Michael Schumacher that has taken those grid penalties there. And there's Fisichella in the Toyota. Clearly wants to score some points just for the second time this season for Formula One's newest team. They're diving his way straight up into P9 then off of Turn 1. We will try and get around the outside there. Mark Webber, who down into the Escudo de Lago, is going to try and have a look for a move. Jenson Button, I think he might be just up now into the podium places as Anthony Davidson and David Coulthard wheel to wheel just behind him up into Ferradura there. I can see one car running a little bit wide. That was the BAR of Anthony Davidson, as now into the tight technical middle sector. We're going to start trying to make some moves on other drivers there, straight back around the outside of Zolt Baumgartner, and then we'll send it to the inside of Giancarlo Fisichella as well then. So making a little bit of progress in the early laps of this GP, which is exactly what we need to be doing at the moment there. But just trying to get the power down. Over the back then of Alexander Wurz again, and this is probably the first time all year I've remembered to go really aggressive with the fuel to start the Grand Prix. We probably could have underfueled the car, but not going to do that. Just don't want to risk it just in case. But past then, the Renault car will go to make our way down in towards the center S there. It really does invite overtakes, but it's always, I've said it on every F1 game, the AI are really confident on the brakes in towards Turn 1. I think ultimately the goal today is to try and get up into P3. I've got no idea how many times this year Frentzen, Villeneuve and I have shared the podium in random orders, but we are kind of the new Hambot Ver. See if we can get a run then. Oh, we definitely can get the power down through that final corner there to the inside of Rubens Barrichello. Now we're just drag racing against the home hero here, back in towards Turn 1, still wheel to wheel with him. Because it feels like, yeah, every single car on this game, you know, with the exception of the back markers, is very, very similar in straight line speed. Apart from the Williams, it's just always got a little bit more oomph at the corners, which is really, really annoying. But yeah, after a rough qualifying though, we've definitely got a much better race car here. We're just starting to pick cars off one by one. Oh, DC! Big mistake there down in towards that first corner, having a bit of a lock-up, and that might leave him a bit vulnerable on the exit of the center S there. We'll try and dive to the inside of Anthony Davidson, as we're both going to get a run on the McLaren car in towards Turn 4. Just trying to time the run as best as we can there, a little bit robust against the BAR, and annoyingly for him, Rubens Barrichello has also been able to sneak his way through. Like I said, obviously DC and Anthony Davidson, probably one of the fights everybody is still watching at the end of this campaign. But yeah, Coulthard there made a mistake, and he's actually benefited from it. Still wonder whether Ron Dennis regrets his decision to get rid of us after winning the World Championship at the end of last season, because it's safe to say Marc Genet has been absolutely useless in that second car. I'm pretty certain he qualified about P16 here in Brazil, and I will be astounded if he keeps hold of that seat ready for 2003 there. But yeah, David Coulthard, as always, had to try and steady that McLaren ship over the course of the season. But as we're going to get a huge run on my former teammate there, he just like gives us the room back in towards turn 1, and we have got the straight line speed. Oh, over him! He's going to ram into the back of us, though, down at turn 1. Not sure how I feel about that one. We'll try and squeeze him out on the exit, and I think... Is he gone? No, he's still running there. Schumacher now is up into 7th. I think we got a Jaguar gone. Well, this is absolutely not what you want to see, especially here at Interlagos. Rubens Barrichello, we've always heard about his Brazilian GP curse. I mean, David Coulthard there trying to get back on the road after that huge aggressive manoeuvre on myself down at turn 1. Just see there, left it on the apex of turn 2. Barrichello just did not have time to avoid him, and he is our first retirement of the day. Well, we are going to dive into the pit lane then at the end of lap 8. Whenever you get a safety car in this game, you kind of have to take the opportunity to peel into the pits there, unless your name's Danica Patrick, apparently. She's opted to stay out. Jensen Button's opted to stay out as well. I think everybody else has opted to stay out then. Giancarlo Fisichella's already got a 5-second penalty. I guess for the hard compound runners, they can't afford to pit in this GP. But I believe, yeah, we're going to re-emerge them right at the rear of the field here. So we're going to have a lot of work to do in the second half of the race. But without having to make a pit stop, though, we're going to hopefully be in quite a good position. Can we get out? Oh, they need to deactivate the pit limiter. That's always helpful. Hopefully, I think, yeah, we're just going to beat Kimi Räikkönen back out onto the circuit. So that's one less car to have to navigate. Well, this has been a really short safety car then in this Grand Prix. By just the end of lap 10, we're all ready to get going once again then, as we've got to try and time this run back towards the start-finish line there. I think we've just about managed it. So we'll try and immediately have a look back past Fernando Alonso back towards turn 1. I think we just about nailed it there, but Alonso goes steamrolling in against Takuma Sato in towards that first corner. Of course, this ended up being the cars we were battling with at the end of the GP last weekend. There was all getting out all over the curbing as we try and get a run there. Alonso's got nothing as we make our way down the Izquierdo Largo there, so we've just Ricardo zonted him alongside Juan Pablo Montoya. Well, I tell you what then, we're pretty much at 1/3 distance, and this race so far has just been overtakes galore for us. I don't know how many cars we've already had to go around, but we're going to try and get past another one. How on earth Takuma Sato there can try and turn in on me while I'm on the apex curve down the inside there? I mean, we were wheel to wheel. He should have always expected that move was going to happen. Next up then going to be Ralf Schumacher. So we try and put the power down through the final couple of corners. And again, when did Eddie Jordan remove his driver's eyes inside this series? Not too sure how I feel about all this defensive driving from those Jordans, especially, you know, Jordan up against a Ferrari. This isn't 1999. Those cars aren't competitive anymore. So we will absolutely slam the door shut in Ralf Schumacher's face there. And back into P14. I tell you what, with the exception, I would say, of Williams this season, we really have seen the entire field kind of bunch up when it comes to overall pace this campaign. You know, Ferrari for us, it's really cost us ultimately, you know, because the likes of Renault, McLaren, even BAR are still on their, you know, good weekends, and Sauber as well can really challenge us for pace here. You know, even, you know, it's the fact though, things like Giancarlo Fisichella up in P9 there, the fact that that Toyota car now is able to hang on to some of the other machinery. I think the only other exception has got to be Minardi down the other end of the field. Alonso and Raikkonen, two obviously future world champions in Formula 1. They're not going to be able to do it in that machine though. Like I've said before, some of you guys have been asking me to put those two in better cars next season. I do intend on doing a bit of a driver reshuffle to kind of get a few more semi-realistic moves. Marc Genet, they're very, very slow down through those final couple of corners. It has been a terrible year for him in what should have been his big opportunity at a front-running Formula 1 team there, as Frentzen sets a low 109 this time around, so he's still got some very good pace. Marc Genet trying to go defensive in towards turn 1. Just about able to defend from us that time round at that first corner there, but we're really trying to tap the curbs through the Schumacher S, the Senna S even, hang on to the apex of the corner as you make your way off the exit there. Genet, trying to have a look for a move now on Zob Baumgartner. And BAR, their straight line speed at the start of the year has absolutely disappeared. That will allow us to try and get a run on Genet. So we make our way back up the hill and up then into P12 we will go. So we're definitely still able to make good progress here at the moment. And of course, unlike anybody else, I don't have to pit again. I was really hoping this season that we'd see BAR be a lot more competitive as the campaign went on, as now we're starting to get a few cars into the pit lane there, down the inside of Zolt Baumgartner and up into P7 then. So Frentzen's still staying out there trying to set some PBs. But yeah, we're going to be a long way ahead by the time he does box. It's then going to be a question of how much time will we lose. I think, honestly, I would have been a bit disappointed if we'd come into this season finale still with a shot at the world title. Because Williams' pace here has just been relentless. Webber and Fisichella are up next, though, on our hit list. That Toyota car is really hanging on well. You got Michael Schumacher into the pit lane then, so that is going to be interesting to see where he and Frentzen re-emerge. Of course, for the likes of Webber and Fisichella on their hard compounded tyres, they won't be in for at least a few more laps then. So again, unless we're kind of pretty much alongside there, we're not really going to do anything against the AIs. Here we go. This is a pretty historic moment then. Giancarlo Fisichella for Toyota will lead the Brazilian Grand Prix as we make our way down the Esquido de Lago there. I believe that's Toyota's first time leading all season. Mark Webber makes a little bit of a mistake just behind him, and again we will squeeze out the Jaguar as we make our way back up the hill. But yeah, Fisichella obviously going to hang on to that back round to the start-finish line. It will officially register as a Toyota lap led, and we said, you know, this season was more about kind of development for that team, buying the old Arrows outfit and trying to fix it up there and, you know, kind of give it the love it deserves. There is still some Arrows DNA in this first Toyota car, but yeah, is he going to be able to hold on back round to the start-finish line? Are we going to spoil Giancarlo Fisichella's party here? I'm sure Toyota are just going to be happy to have their car at the front of the order, you know, get the screenshots in. But as we make the run back around towards the start-finish line then, he is officially going to have that lap led in this Grand Prix there. He's now going to go wheel to wheel with us down at turn 1 there. And look at that, Fisichella actually getting the elbows out. We can do anything in towards that first corner. So fantastic to see. And Toyota, they're going to hang on. I kind of need to move my way past Fizzy and hope then that Frentzen struggles to find his way around some of these cars as well, if he even closes in on them by the time they all dive into the pit lane here. Oh, come on, Fisichella just passed a break about 10 metres earlier than I'm expecting him to through those final few corners, but hopefully we can get a run back in towards turn 1 then on the Toyota car this time round, able to use more of the slipstream, as again he really wants to try and move us to the outside line there, and again Fisichella will defend in towards turn 1. Why is this the first car that I'm struggling to make a move on in this Grand Prix? Is Frentzen now not a million miles away, as we will force ourselves to the inside of that Toyota car there, and finally up into the lead of the Grand Prix. How long will we hang on to it though? Oh, there you go, Frentzen now just pops up on the relative here, so he's still got to try and find his way past all those other cars. Already pulled like 2 seconds on Fisichella in the space of a lap, so these are going to be the critical ones in this GP before all those AI pit. We've just got to open up as big a lead as we can. It really hasn't taken Frentzen long to kind of move his way up through that gaggle of cars there. I think now he's going to get the run on Fisichella back in towards turn 1 then and inherit P2 in this GP. 16 laps to go. The gap just 4 seconds there as Villeneuve now popping up on the relative as well. I also don't believe Michael Schumacher's that far behind, so despite his grid penalties, he's done a really good job to recover in this GP. There you go, I feel like I'm setting pretty good lap times in this GP in the high 109s. Frentzen, he's running high 108s, and I've lost a gear as well. This is not going to be fun towards the end of the afternoon, as I've no idea which gear we've lost. I think it's 5th, I want to say. Is it 4th or is it 5th? Yeah, it's 5th gear there, so we're going to run into more and more problems towards the end of the afternoon. Luckily, these, you know, the middle gears are so short in this car. doesn't make too big of a difference. Real goal then at this stage of the afternoon is just trying to hold Frentzen up as best as I can. Oh, there you go. Frentzen immediately is going to get the run on me, though. Backing towards turn 1. My plan, like I said, was going to be trying to hold him up and back him into those cars behind. Frentzen will make it through, though, but we will not go down without a fight. Back to the inside through turn 1. And we will hang on through turn 2 there. And again, just give myself a little bit of breathing room here. It is Ferrari versus Williams at the front of the order. But that's a real good sign that we can potentially defend from him. Here comes Frentzen again then. I think this is going to be a reoccurring story towards the end of the afternoon. As there you go, the Williams will try and have a look to the outside that time around there. But again, just able to get on the brakes a little bit later. Villeneuve now has joined this fight as well. So could he potentially try and look for a move on his teammate? Schumacher still 6 seconds back. But he is closing in as well. I genuinely do not understand how these Williams cars are so quick in a straight line there. Frentzen will try and get around the outside down in towards turn 4 there. But again, we will try and defend it. And Jacques Villeneuve that time round will squeeze through then. And up into P2. Now he's going to try and have a look round outside. Up towards the top of the hill there. I can't remember when the last race... Oh, Villeneuve won in this series. I don't think it was that long ago. But yes, certainly has not been the campaign he would have wanted there, as both Williams absolutely hounding us with a quarter of this race still yet to run. Anything can happen by the end of the afternoon, and if this series is anything to go by, it most likely will. Oh, this time around then we've gone and lost second gear here, and although it's not the most important one yet again around this venue, it really does allow us to kind of carry a bit of extra speed off of the corners. Just see, though, Frentzen, if he's more than about half a second back at that final turn, he can't really do anything by the time we get back into turn 1 there. Is now really sending it over the curbs through turn 2 and turn 3 there. But again, we can try and go defensive on the Williams, but he's just got so much more drive up towards the top end of the gear ratios. We are still hanging on for now, as Schumacher has pretty much joined this fight. Oh, no. That was a big moment there, and Frentzen again then. He's going to get invited by. We will only just keep the car down the inside there as we nicked a wheel on the grass through the final hairpin of Sector 2, and that could have been game over for us if we just oversteered a little bit more and slapped the wall on the outside then. But Frentzen again is going to try and look for it back in towards turn 1. We will again try and sit defensive from the Williams there, but you can see all of his advantages on the drive up towards the top end. He doesn't actually have more top end speed than us. It's just getting there. That Williams is so much more efficient than this Ferrari, and we've seen it so many times. You know, it was well documented back in the early 2000s. BMW were building the best engines in Formula 1. It was simply the fact Williams couldn't build a car around it there. As look at the confidence from Frentzen trying to look round the outside through Ferradura. But again, can't make it happen. 5 laps to go after this one. Could we hang on? I believe Jacques Villeneuve still has the fastest lap of the day with a 1:08.6. So there we go then. I know we're holding up those guys now so they can't go any quicker. But a 1:08.7 goes to show that we have still got some pace in the car towards the end of the afternoon there. Is again not really getting the run out of the Center S, and Frentzen now he's starting to try and line up moves at various parts of the circuit. One of his new favourite ones is to try and have a look around the outside up in towards Ferradura, because again, this is just the perfect place for Williams to use all of that power in that engine there, as Frentzen again tries to make it happen. And again, we will just slam the door shut. Both Williams, both Ferrari now nose to tail here, and we might still have to deal with lap traffic. Well, you know that thing I said earlier on in the GP about had we come here to Interlagos, we wouldn't have been able to fight with Williams anyway if we still had a shot at the World Championship? I've really gone and eaten my words towards the end of the afternoon. When we've been put in a position where we have to defend, we can get the elbows out, and we can try and keep those Williams cars at bay. 1 lap to go then, here from what has been a very topsy-turvy 2002 season. It started out fairly well. We got a couple of wins nice and early on in the campaign, but it was clear that more than ever before, this season was going to be an uphill battle for us. And I tell you what, Heinz Harold Frentzen, I've said it before, he's basically not put a foot wrong all year. He deserves to be Formula 1 World Champion this season, becoming our 5th different winner in the 5 seasons of this career mode. I believe now this extends a streak of 8 years of 8 different world champions as well, which is rather impressive. But as we make our way through this final lap, I'm hoping Kimi Räikkönen will get out of the way for us in that Minardi car for the 2nd weekend in a row. He looks to be the only driver that is going to go 1 lap down here, but just a few more corners to try and navigate them here at Interlagos. This sends a message for 2003. Williams might have had it this time round, but we down at Ferrari will never give up. Through the final corner, we should just about get the power down there. I think we've got the gap. Out of the final turn, I think that's going to be win number 4 of the year. We will take victory here at Interlagos.
We've had a very strong season this year, very strong indeed. Well done, and thank you on behalf of the team for a fantastic effort.
And with that, another year of Formula 1 draws to a close, and a new World Drivers' Champion is declared. Another entry added to that prestigious list of the sport's most incredible drivers. That's it then, they've taken the win here as we wrap up another fantastic Formula 1 season. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Well, there we are then. From 9th on the grid, we will take victory away from Williams there to finish off the year. And I tell you what, I didn't think we were going to have the pace to do that this weekend, but very, very happy that we were able to walk away with it there. Frentzen in P2 ahead of Jacques Villeneuve, Michael Schumacher, probably my driver of the day, to be honest. A fantastic recovery from 13th place there after some grid penalties. Danica Patrick in 5th ahead of Anthony Davidson. Wirtz, Trulli, Button and Mark Webber will round out top 10. McLaren, after looking so strong late on this season, they will walk away with absolutely nothing there. And I'll tell you what, Giancarlo Fisichella, I know it's not as simple as this, but had he not got that 5-second penalty, he would have picked up a point or two from this GP as well there. Disappointment for Zolt Baumgartner down in P15 when all is said and done. And of course, Rubens Barrichello, the unluckiest Formula 1 driver ever when racing at home. He is the only man to fail to see the checkered flag. What does that mean, though, for our championship standings? Well, it means that even if we had another 2 races left of this season, Frentzen would still be a champion there. We come through for P2, though, ahead of Jacques Villeneuve. So happy once again that we're able to beat the Williams man. Michael Schumacher, a bit of a distant P4, a campaign to forget for our German teammate. Anthony Davidson does beat Coulthard, though, to P5 overall in what has easily been one of the best rookie campaigns we've ever seen in the sport. Coulthard hangs on, though, tied with Danica Patrick at the end of the year there, with Button in P8, Jarno Trulli and Marc Genet rounding out your top 10. Just ahead of both Jaguar cars there, Alexander Wirtz in P13 ahead of Zolt Baumgartner, and those 4 points for Ralf Schumacher and Jordan were absolutely critical for their entire season there. Able to beat out Juan Pablo Montoya and Giancarlo Fisichella there, as well as Sato, Raikkonen and Alonso. Never really looked like they were going to be able to challenge for points. Williams take their 2nd Constructors' Championship in a row ahead of Ferrari. Sauber come through for P3 with McLaren in P4 there, so they'll be disappointed to finish behind one of the Ferrari kind of almost junior teams inside this game. BAR just hang on ahead of Renault there. I think Renault ultimately deserved a lot more than P6. Jenson Button Button showed great pace throughout a lot of the season, but just too many races completely fell apart for them. Jaguar in a bit of a distant P7 in the end, and like we said, Jordan with those all-important 4 points will hang on to 8th ahead of Toyota and Minardi. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. 2003 is not going to be too far away. Like I said, I'm already working on a few bits and pieces behind the scenes, ready for the new season. But yeah, we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns, ready for the Australian Grand Prix.